Hello valued viewers, I hope you're all doing very well. I was talking to my friend CH today and he said, Cap, I've just made 4 modern tanks and added them to DCS. Would you like to come and shoot them with me? And I said, yes, hello CH.
Hello.
He's made from Ukraine the T-64BV main battle tank, and I've got the dates of introduction shown here as well. The T-84 Oplot-M main battle tank, Chinese ZTQ-15 light tank, and the Chinese ZTZ-99A2 main battle tank. We are first going to go through each tank in detail, then we may drive a few around, and then of course we're going to do a big battle between them. So first, Ukraine T-64BV. Now I know very little about tanks anyway, CH, and I've never heard of any of these tanks. In fact, I didn't even realise Ukraine had her own tanks. I assumed they would just be running old Soviet stuff from the 1980s.
This one, the T-64BV, as you can imagine, based on the T-64, which was introduced in the early 1960s. But then they have modernized them. I mean, Ukraine has actually a lot of weapon industries, so they have made a lot of improvements on it to make it more modern for today's battlefield. All the stuff is based on the Soviet or Russian stuff, but they have their own manufacturing and some things differs.
I'll go through the details. KB A3 125mm main cannon. A9. Did the original T-64 have a 125mm cannon? That sounds a large bore for a very old tank, CH.
That's a good question, but I think it was. I think it's.
It's a modern caliber.
I think it was very, very new when it was introduced, the 125mm. Yeah, at that time.
A 9M112M2 Cobra anti-tank guided missile. Now, is that fired through the barrel or is it attached somewhere else?
Yeah, it's like most of the Russians' ATGMs fired through the barrel.
So that would mean this is a smoothbore barrel?
Yeah.
We've got a KT 12.7mm turret machine gun, a KT 7.62 coax machine gun, smoke grenades, day and night sight, target engagement while moving, max speed 37 miles per hour and reverse 3 miles per hour. Ranges, as you can see there, normal tank ranges.
One interesting aspect is the reverse speed, which is one of the big Achilles heels with the Russian tanks, since that's part of how you fight with a tank. You need to go very fast or backwards also.
I remember on Top Gear, a British show, they raced a Land Rover against a Challenger 2 main battle tank from Britain, and that thing moved really fast. Even in reverse, it caught up with the Land Rover. So to say that this only goes less than walking speed backwards, that's exactly a major problem. Now, why would you design something so stupid? That said, it is from 1964.
Modern tanks, a lot of them have the new CVT transmissions, which means they aren't actually gears in the traditional way, so you can go as quick backwards as forward.
Right, next tank, T-84 Oplot-M. So I'm guessing this is a modernization of the... Oh, was there a T-84? Or I thought it was just a T-80.
Yeah, there was a T-80, but there was a T-84 built in the 90s, which was in service in the Ukrainian armed forces.
Here's an interesting thing. Let me move back to game. Why is it so wide? It's like wider than it is long. What kind of tank has that?
Yeah, you mean the extra protection on the sides? That's a lot of the stuff that's... they actually use the same cannons. They use the same weapons, but they are manufactured in Ukraine. They are added sensors, but most of it's all the extra protection. It's a lot of reactive armor. It's a lot of extra skirts and protections. There are several versions besides the Oplot-M, I think. They have the Oplot-T, which was an export version for Thailand, and I think they have a couple of other versions also, but they are actually adding stuff on top of them. It's the same base.
Right, okay. 125mm main gun, a reflex anti-tank guided missile, 12.7, 7.62, 44 miles per hour forward, 22 miles per hour backwards. So that's just because the T-84 was a better design than the T-64, I presume.
Yeah, it's much more modern.
Let's move on to China. ZTQ-15 light tank. We've got a 105mm main gun, a GP-105 anti-tank guided missile, which I'm assuming is fired down the barrel. Look how uniform it is. 12.7 again, 6.2 again, and the same max speeds as the T-84. Anything of interest about this? They're all pretty new, these Chinese tanks. That's one thing I've noticed about them, like within the last 5 years or so.
A lot of the stuff here is also Russian originally. both the guns and the ATGMs is definitely Russian. So they improve upon the Russian stuff. So it's somewhat the same case as with the Ukraine stuff. I think the 105mm cannon is also NATO compatible in caliber.
Okay, last one. ZTZ-99A2 main battle tank 125mm gun. It's pretty much all the same stuff you've seen. Modern main battle tanks are pretty much settled on the same bore size of the gun, the same bore size, and the way that the guided missile works, and apparently the same machine gun size. A little faster, 50 miles an hour forward, 22 miles an hour backwards. One thing I noticed is the true caliber, or the length of the gun, is really long. Is that just my eyes, or is that a thing?
Yeah, it was actually something we discussed in the forums, and I looked at all the pictures. It's pretty long. It's more artillery length of it, but all the pictures shows it to be of that size. So it's pretty interesting. But it's the main gun is actually a Russian gun, the CPT-98. It's originally a Russian one. I don't know if they've done anything more to it. The ATGM is also Russian, but also improved. But they have a lot of different sensors and a lot of different protection packages here. Since this is a very modern version, you have the active protection system, the APS, that will take out incoming ATGMs or air-to-ground missiles.
How does that work?
Yeah, you have the sensors around. You have the one, the big camera you can see on top of the turret there to the right, that moves around and keeps looking out in every direction for incoming threats. And this is a hard kill system. So, I mean, the soft kill systems sends out lasers to interrupt laser targeting and this kind of stuff, or pop smoke. But these hard kill systems actually fires missiles against the incoming threat.
Wow.
Small rockets that will blow things up.
Where does it fire them from?
This is some magic and trickery, because they are supposed to be, you can see the smoke canisters on the right, you can see the 5 canisters. Yeah. There will actually be small, like these scattered around, but they aren't modeled right now. I have to, since this APS systems isn't something that DCS actually supports, so I have to make some special solutions for that. But they are small rockets all around. It will send out 2 of them for an incoming target. In
real life, is it normal for modern main battle tanks of various coalitions to do this, or is it a China thing only?
It's definitely a thing, but it's a very modern thing. It's not that many countries that has implemented it. I mean, a lot of countries have old stuff still in use, but you have the trophy system for the latest Abrams tanks. They are using this kind of stuff. I know Israel have very modern stuff that they sell to other countries around the world, but I don't know that many that have implemented in large scale yet. But it will definitely be a thing.
Roger. Viewers, at this point, as you can probably tell, myself and CH are not tank experts. It's not what we specialise in at all, but a lot of you guys are. Can you guys tell me, why is this gun so long? I mean, you're going to increase the velocity of the shell, but it's going to make the tank so hamstrung in terms of where it can operate, and I'm sure maintenance problems. Let me know why you guys think you've got pretty much an artillery barrel on a freaking tank. It seems really weird. Let's go and have a little play with them. Loading into game, viewers. It's from CH, which means it will be modelled extremely well. Let's go and have a quick look. Here we have the T-64BV. Look at that. Look at that texture quality, Viewingtons. Do you like it? Oh, look at all the rust and stuff.
It's an old gun.
Is it a Dushka? What is it? 12.7?
Yeah, it might be a PKM. No, sorry, it's a cord. Maybe.
Oh, it's a cord. It's a cord. Yeah. Lots of those about. This tank does not have reactive armor, I'm guessing. What's this stuff bolted to the side? Yeah, it's reactive
armor. Yeah, that's. I don't know if you've seen all the memes, but that's the Ukrainian way of adding stuff. They add a lot of reactive armor to everything. It's actually explosives bolted on, so that it will. That's the reactive armor thing. It will explode on impact and will mess up the incoming projectile.
Right. Okay. So, very interesting. Okay.
So they are what's it called in English when they explode outwards against it, so it won't explode into itself.
I don't know, but I get the idea. Yeah, so you're stopping the thing doing its job by basically damaging it enough. Very good. Let's put it in the areas, I guess, where the tank is most vulnerable. You just don't want to be hit there. You don't want to be hit there. I love the idea how you take an old, 50-plus-year-old tank and just stick bits on it until it is really good. I'm going to have a look at this one next, which is the T-84. Which, look at its big side. When I was a youngster, in fact now pretty much, but when I was a youngster, we would put big side skirts on our cars to make them look like racing cars.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what you've done here. Is that reactive, do you think, or is that just big bits of steel?
It's steel, you have to put some sort of barrier between incoming stuff. You often combine the actual armor with the reactive armor and all kind of slats or skirts to have things break up before they impact on the actual wall you don't want it to go through. So there are layers of protection for these.
Right.
Or it's just a Fast and the Furious version.
Yeah. So well, yeah. So this is almost like if you had an RPG or an RPK, whatever they're called. The kind of shoulder-launched missiles coming in. And the idea, presumably, is that if it hits a layer first, even if it's a half-inch or something, just a few mil, it's enough to upset the projectile so it can't do its job properly when it meets the actual, steel of the hull.
That's exactly why the counter thing was the tandem charges. So now all the charges have 2 charges. So the first one will be taken out by this.
Oh, really?
The second will be, yeah, exactly.
Wow.
It's always a race with the weapon.
It is, isn't
it? Like the top attacking javelins and laws, because it's not as much protection on the top. So it's always a race between the...
Right, so in 20 years' time, what we're going to see is side skirts about 3 meters wide out here with 25 layers. So then the 26 warhead missiles are trying to take it out. Very interesting, viewers. Next tank is the light tank. One thing I'm missing is the tonnages, and the tonnages are quite important because they give you a real feel for the tank. I don't suppose you know them off by heart, do you, CH?
I think that one is 30-35 ton. It's a light tank, as you just mentioned. It's a very much smaller tank, or a reconnaissance light attack tank.
Turrets have got so big on modern tanks. And if you compare this to a World War II tank, which is still, you can still have a Tiger or something, which is still 50-60 tons, as heavy as a modern main battle tank. But look how big the turrets have got, and that's presumably because you've got so much going on in there. All your ammo, probably. Actually, I'm not going to pretend to know because I don't know, but there was a lot there. Plus, I guess you've also got a lot of layered protection going on
exactly.
here.
Yeah, you need exactly. You need a lot of decimeters of protection.
Yeah, I could sit and watch these look at these all day viewers, but I can't because I'll get in trouble. So last one. Wow, what a beast this is! Look at this. This is.
I think it's around 55 ton.
55 tons, so that's pretty normal for a main battle tank with this giant wong of a gun. Look at the size of it. What is that, viewers? Why does anyone need that much velocity on a bullet or a shell? And presumably, maybe even because of that long barrel, you've got such a big turret, huge turret, with its layers of active armor.
The manly version.
It definitely is the manly version. It's definitely compensating. And look at the active armor. Look how far spaced away it is from the metal, if you like, of the turret. It's probably a foot or a foot and a half away from the actual turret. That's crazy, man. And is this along the hull active armor along here, do you reckon, or is it just sheets?
No, I think that's exactly Scotch. Exactly.
Funny little holes in it for some reason, probably for maintenance, so you can keep an eye on the wheels. Bunch of petrol or diesel. Do we know? Regards engines are obviously very important. Americans tend to go for, or they used to go for turbines, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. But all these are diesels, which most of the ones are. I think even the T-80 was a turbine, but the Ukrainians converted them, so you have diesels in there now. And they used to be the bigger ones here are all like 1200 to 1500 horsepower, I think.
Yeah, you get a lot better gas mileage out of I think, sorry if I got this wrong, I think you get more power out of a turbine, but a lot more gas mileage out of a diesel, which is probably the most important thing at the end of the day. Look great. Let's have a quick jump in them. Sorry that's taking so long for you, but dang, that's fun.
I think the last one there is a 34-liter V12 twin turbo, if I remember correctly.
Beast. I want my freaking car. Viewers, it's a CH mod, which means you can jump in and do stuff and fire. Woo! Oh, look at it bounce off. I like the mechanics. It's awesome. Down at the bottom right, you can... Jeez, I think I've just crunched a gearbox. Am I good? No, I'm good. I'm good. AP
You buy it.
no, I don't want to buy it. Well, I do actually. The Wi-Fi won't let me. APF-SDS. I should know what that means by now, but I can't remember. Do you know? Discarded.
Yeah, it's armor piercing. Yeah.
Armor piercing. Bang! Wow, it makes the tree go fiery. Okay, let's see if we can change the ammo type, viewers.
That is a close first.
That's a
we can change.
Yeah, high explosive, viewers. I think high explosive is much lower velocity, but obviously it's a high explosive shell. So look, you can see it kind of lobs it almost like a mortar. Yeah. Let's see what else we've got. We've got a Cobra. I'm guessing this is the missile, so let's watch this.
Yeah.
There we go. No, I can move it, viewers. Watch this. Bang! How's that guided? Is it radio guided? Is it wire guided? Any idea?
Yeah, it's not. It's either depending on which one we're firing now, but it's, as just mentioned, RF or laser guided.
Roger. Right, that's that. I can go here. Got a machine gun on the top. Taka. I've got. Oh god, I got that.
If you press Shift and space, you get the coax.
Shift and space. Never heard of that before. Oh, look at that! I literally didn't know that. Coax, viewers.
There's 762 that's connected to the...
That's in the turret, yeah, that's in the turret.
Yeah.
Right, very good. Let us move on. We don't really need to do this, but who doesn't want to do it? But what this means as well is that we can actually shoot the tank that we've used, so we can fire on the move. Let's see if we can show that off, shall we? And watch this. Get some, baby!
And if you press Q, you will jump into the turret on top. Yeah, with a...
Do you reckon it's 12.7?
Armor piercing.
Do you reckon that's mainly air to ground to air, or I guess it's just a mix of everything?
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely for air targets. Yeah, that's the only one you can elevate as high.
Now, here's an interesting experiment. Oh my god, what just happened? That was just that blowing up again.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting experiment. In DCS, it's not a tank simulator, but still, armour and armour directions and armour thicknesses are modelled to a certain extent. So what I'm going to do here, just for the lols, is take a 105mm gun and shoot it against the front of a T-84 and see if we can damage it.
I have actually, you can do a lot different kind of damage models here, but all these tanks, I have modelled the exact millimeter of armor per side in like 12 different zones. So I have actually modelled every bit of the armor.
That's my CH. Go on, tell me what the toughest bit will be then.
Yeah, it's the front or the front of the turret.
Right, guys, I'm going to hit what we think is the toughest part. 3, 2, 1, go. Bounce right off. You couldn't see it bounce because it moves. The bullet moves so fast, but trust me, it's there and it's modelled. Let's try bouncing off here. Bounced off, but is damaged it, as you probably wouldn't be in real life, you know. Just think of the kinematics, whatever going on in there. And one more should finish him off. 3 shells, point blank, pretty much from a 105. That's not too bad, right?
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the distance is also modeled. It's a lot different to be firing at someone point blank, as opposed to firing at long range.
One more Viewingtons, the mother of all cannons, the giant Momosan. I'm a giant Momosan.
And of course, it would be really hard to take out another tank with the AG, for example.
Yeah, right, because, well, why would it?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm going to take a pop at this guy. Bang! Brilliant. Right, we had a bit of fun there, viewers. In that case, CH, need just to say that these are freely downloadable, and I will put the link in the video description. We're going to go make them fight each other now. Stand by. And welcome back. We've got 2 companies of tanks here. One company of 64, one company of 84 for the Ukrainians. Each company is 14 tanks, by the way. It's a rough estimate. We've got 2 companies, one of ZTQ and one ZTZ of the Chinese. So basically 28 tanks versus 28 tanks. I'm going to need to predict. We've not run this through, obviously, because Grim Reaper's prediction CH. Yeah,
it's interesting. I think the Chinese 99 is the best tank, but you have the light tank with the 105mm, which will be a little worse than the T-64 on the other side. But T-64 has shorter range ATGM, so yeah, I think it's very hard to determine who will win this.
Roger. I want Ukraine to win, but my head says China is going to win. Also, it's not a scientific test, viewers. There's undulations in the ground and trees and stuff, so take it with a pinch of salt. I've done a few tank battles before, viewers. The most important thing is the usage of the terrain. Obviously, everything's line of sight, and as everything's so low, line of sight is a massive issue. So real-life tactics must be so important for using the terrain. Big wide boy T-84. Right, I reckon as soon as he gets over this hill, S is going to kick off. These rounds, now I think the armor penetrating rounds have tracers, and I think I'm right in saying that high explosive do not have tracers, but we'll see.
No, a lot of them, no, they don't have tracers, because that's not that usual with these ammunition destruction stuff. Okay. So it's hard to see. You will see when they hit stuff. You might see the projectile going away. I have modeled the projectiles, so that's something you might see. But you also have to keep in mind that there are different amount of red rounds in their autoloaders. Now you can see an ATGM.
Look at that. It's going to hit. It's a big, massive swap of ATGMs, viewers.
Yeah.
Look, tanks are just going to start blowing up. Look at that. Look at that. T-64s have all just blown up. The heck? Guns are firing. Guns are firing. Kind of big. Look at their tactics. They stop to fire their ATGMs to, I guess, make them more accurate.
They have. They are configured for that. Yeah, they have to be able to steer them in.
Yeah. Right. Wow, look at that. Should have put the scoreboard on ready, but never mind. Who's winning so far? Let's have a look. Swapping ATGMs. China's winning. China's definitely winning. They're sucking up the ATGMs.
If you look at the 9s, they can take care of them with the APS systems.
Yeah, that just bounced off his armor. That's an ATGM that just bounced off this guy. Oh, right, hang on, pause it there. Have you... Oh, geez, look at that. Have you modelled the dynamics of the defense system?
Yeah. It will... you will see the explosion around us. It will take them out a couple 100 meters
How on earth have you done that?
Front of them. Right. Yeah, I have faked it with an invisible gun that will shoot
Ladies and gentlemen, CH, right, how about that? So, yeah, that's cool. Very cool. Wow, what blew up there? Something just massive just blew up there. I think that was...
it was probably, if you hear the black smoke, it's probably the APS.
Wow, how cool, man. Oh, it's getting laggy.
Yeah.
I can see the shells. Look closely, viewers. You see the shells bouncing off.
Poor guy with his 105 millimeter.
Alright. My shells are bouncing off their armor, sir. How close to real life is this, viewers? No idea. I mean, how do tank tactics work? I need a tanky to come and tell us. If it's, in my mind, they just charge each other like this, straight into each other. They probably don't do that in real life. I can see the shells. The shells have huge velocity, viewers, like 5,000 feet per second or something like that. Now here's the amazing thing.
These are around almost 1,800 meters per second.
Yeah, that sounds about. Yeah. Ooh, hit. I would have thought everything. Oh, look, the 64s are all down. Look at that. Yeah. I would have thought everything would be dead by now because there's so much firepower in the air, but it shows how good the defensive measures are. Plenty of tanks are being hit, but they're not being killed. And you saw that when we showed off the... Oh, look, this guy's got himself in a line of sight problem here. Or could it be tactical?
Yeah, exactly. And I also noticed, which I think is pretty realistic, not to create these evil weapons, when they are moving this fast, as we have put them, they won't hit that super well because both parties are moving. So it's pretty hard to hit something moving that on the hills and all that stuff. Yeah, even with the stabilized gun.
They have gyro compensation, don't they? Gyro stabilization. Yeah. Here's a question for you viewers. Would it be better for a tank commander to keep his tank still and be more accurate, or keep moving, be harder to hit, but be less accurate? What would a real tank do? Let me know. China's going to win. They're so powerful. That gun. Like freaking Excalibur.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, you only have that many ready rounds. It takes like 30 seconds when you have to get them from the back of the turret. Yeah,
so they have what I call a hopper. It's not the right thing, but of quick load rounds, and then the rest have to be physically somehow taken from the rear of the turret. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the first barrage we can see, like
Yeah.
7, 8, or 9, or 10.
And then it slows down.
Then it slows down.
Yeah. That's it. It's done. China won. And just like CH said, it's their ZTZ. None of them died. I think, well, no, some of them did actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. 4 died. It just shows how tough that armor system is of, like CH said, with a little rocket that goes out and shoots the thing down. I mean, that's absolutely amazing. I thought that was jolly fun, viewers. I think there's a great bunch of tanks there. Sorry we couldn't be more useful to you. We're just not really tank guys. Anything from CH?
Nope.
Okay, bye-bye.